Worldwide EasyIO Conference. Ken Smyers, introduce our guests and tell them what we're going to be doing here.
I'd love to, Eric. One of the most amazing features of the EasyIO European World event was the opportunity to meet with one of the most distinguished group of Indian engineers. I'm with Bartesh. Bartesh is going to introduce the group. But Eric, this is a great opportunity for the control trends community to really get another perspective of the markets and the incredible globality of our products. Bartesh?
Thank you, Ken and Eric. We have a fantastic team of consulting engineers from India. We have got Mr. Sunil Gupta, who's come from North India. We have got Mr. Pradeep Sheth, who is one of the leading consultants from Ahmedabad. It is the western region of India. We have got Mr. Prashant Kavle, who is the director of GMP Technical Solutions India. We have got Vinayak Sane, who is one of the leading consultants from Mumbai, and Mr. Ajay Shirgurkar, who is a leading consultant from Pune.
Bartesh, what an amazing group of, I call them a distinguished panel of Indian engineers where we really are interested in the developing markets of India, how India is playing such a big role now in the global. I know you're in Africa, Western Europe, America. Tell us some of the great projects and some of the interesting things about the Indian version of how you go to market with the building management systems.
I think we see a lot of change in the building management system in the last 5 years. We see the trend which is moving from a proprietary system to a more open platform. There is a lot of development on the technology side, and we see the DDC controllers are becoming more open, more robust, and we see a lot of features added at the controller level rather than on the software and the mid-layer system architecture. So we see a lot of change in that. A lot of large companies like Cisco and Renaissance, which is the Marriott chain of hotels. We've got KPMG, Goldman Sachs, and large multinationals in India who are now looking at open platforms and systems which can really add value to their system. So that's how everything is moving.
Marvelous.
I would request Mr. Sunil to just add on to what I have already said.
Oh yes, I agree with Bartesh that the requirements and the concepts which are rapidly changing in the international market, and of course Indian as part being India, these things are catching up there in India. And as you all know that India right now is actually on the threshold of a massive growth trajectory which is going to happen, and I think everybody, the whole world is excited. We are very excited, and since we are sitting at that point, we know that how things are happening there. And the BMS, I think in the coming time to come, would play a very, very important role in the building industry. It's something which is right now being not being given that kind of focus which should be there, and I think in times to come it will be a great opportunity for all the companies in the BMS to capture this great market which is happening.
Everybody must be aware that in India, since last 4 months, the scenario has changed. Political scenario has changed and the vision has changed. There's a lot of opportunity in Indian market. I mean, there's already a lot of vacuum in terms of healthcare, in terms of hospitality, in terms of education. So we expect that during next 5 years, there will be a lot of hotels, hospitals, and educational institute will turn up into the Indian market. A lot of multinational agencies are also entering into the international market, and all these projects are, technically, if you see, it's a very, demanding, and where, BMS or IBMS is a must. It's not that, one can, go without that. And looking to this opportunity, I feel that next 5 years is a golden period for India to have your tremendous market for the IBMS and BMS.
Super, great insight.
Hi, Prashant here. So what Bartesh said, there is a definite change from a legacy system to a more open systems, and we are delighted that we are representing EasyIO in India, who got a fantastic controllers, and that's what we see as a future. In terms of energy needs, India is on the threshold of a massive growth, and HVAC, which contributes to almost 40 to 50% of any energy building needs. I think building management system is the future, and the open system with energy analytics, I think, is going to be the most important criteria for any building management. it's great to work with open systems, and we are pretty confident that it would take a major chunk of the Indian market. Yeah, thanks.
Hi, Vinayak here. I would go back a little bit what Bertha started. I would say the BMS industry started about 10 years back, 10 or 15 years back, when the IT industry boomed in India. And when likes like Accenture, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Deutsche Bank, Goldman Sachs, the American companies which started coming in, they have laid more stress on the security standards, the life safety standards. And then they said we want an IBMS. And that's when IBMS and building automation became a 10% part of IBMS. But it never grew because it was installed, it stayed, and people used it as a monitoring tool but never did any analytics. And that was a very nascent stage. And today, as the electrical cost is going high, people want to look into the systems which are installed about 10 years back, 12 years back, the legacy systems, not paying at all. It became a white elephant. So when we as consultants, we do audits, it becomes very difficult to emphasize to the customers that these are the things that lying idle. You're not using it the right way, you have to do it. But that happens because it was again the legacy system. So today the world is for open source, and that's what we were delighted to be here, to be part of this IZIO European platform, to understand things, what can be taken to the next platform. So I think I can hand it over to Ajay.
Hello, I'm Ajay. I will add with my friends so that not only the building management, now there are many smart townships are coming in India. There are many smart townships are coming in India. They are also need an open platform controls and these things, because not only single building, it has a huge township we have to manage and control at a central location. So this is a very good opportunity for us to learn EGIO platform and these things.
Taking a clue forward, I would like to have my co-consultants also to look into the fact that once we have the system in place, are the people geared up to use them? So it is a major question that we have in India or anywhere throughout the world. Once the systems are installed, do you actually use them the way they are designed? So what comes next is a major question is about trainings. So we would say training is a very necessary thing that comes along with working on the BMS system. So I'll ask Mr. Sheth to take it over because he is one of the oldest consultants among four of us.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. You are absolutely right. I mean, any system installed, if you are not properly trained or if you don't have a reason or vision to how to use it and what most benefit to take out of this, then the system is useless. Like I'll say, in a building, if you install a firefighting system and if a person doesn't know how to operate a hose or how to take out the hose from the hose reel box, and in case of fire, he can't do anything. Similarly, if you install the IBMS system, and it's most important that not only the operators or the control manager should learn this. I would say that the entire building population or staff, they all must be made aware of what is the system, what benefits you are getting out of it, how to use it, and how to take the most economical steps to use it. So I mean, it's not, the training should not be limited to only to the controller or operator or manager or engineering team. It should be given to all the other staffs also, so they know how they can use it. Now, I mean, once a people develops an has an awareness or they develop an habit to use it, in that case, you can take the maximum benefit of the system. You can achieve to the maximum economical figures. I mean, you are talking about, like I would say that air conditioning system. I mean, people simply set the temperature to 20 or 22 degrees centigrade, whether it's required or not, whether the heat load inside the building is demanding that temperature or not. No, nobody knows. You go to the airport, same thing happens. Sometimes it's very chilling. What I would say that if each and every person who is in the premises, who knows what is the benefit, then he would immediately know that that air conditioning system should run on a whatever the latent heat or whatever the heat gain is from outside. Accordingly, it should operate, it should optimize the power consumption. And awareness, education will definitely bring success to the BMS.
So what is typically energy savings? I mean, what sort of energy savings are you guys typically looking at in the building? Or
See, everybody must be aware that in any total power consumption of any building, whether you are talking about an office building, or you are talking about a hotel, or you are talking about a hospital, air conditioning system takes around 60 to 70% of the total load. So that means if you are using say 100 kilowatt, 60 kilowatt goes to the air conditioning system. That means your maximum energy bill is coming from the air conditioning system. Now, if you can simply govern the air conditioning system with the BMS system to run as per the load demand, then you can reduce the 60% power consumption to so maybe 40%. That means, you are every day saving around 20 to 25% of the total energy consumption of the building.
so are you guys doing demand control then, like load shedding? Is that one of the strategies on load shedding? Or what energy strategies?
Yeah, we do that. Basically, I'll try to help you out here is, unlike Europe, USA, India has 4 seasons, actual 4 seasons. And we don't have as much as heating required, but more of cooling. Right? So what happens using the data required for the entire 4 seasons is very important. So you use demand limiting, you use load shedding, you use I would say load limiting. Demand limiting is a little different than the load limiting. Then you look at the trains, and that's a direct saving. But there are a lot of indirect savings where you have the preventive maintenance. You use the tools, the dashboards possible to go into a sequence of past records, future analysis, and get into preventive maintenance of the equipment, which is the mechanical equipment. And I think Prashant, who heads a company which is majorly into installation of MEP services as well, could lay more importance on what maintenance could be a fact to look into.
So you do installation of systems?
Yeah, we do. We integrate all the systems. We integrate IBMS systems with the other systems like lighting controls, the fire controls, and the integration is becoming a key. Analytics is becoming a key, and trending and reporting. That's the main thing we are looking from any BMS system. The emphasis is more to educate the client on the amount of savings that can be possible with fine tuning and tweaking, and we incorporate the required logic to achieve this.
And so, what are some of the systems that are big in India? The control systems. Which control systems do you guys see in India a lot?
I think the big players of the world like Honeywell's, Johnson Controls, Siemens, Schneider's, they are pretty big in India, and it's as competitive as any developed market.
One of the trends we're seeing in the U.S., and this is where EasyIO plays in. EasyIO seems like it has a controller that can go both with the big systems as well as the smaller spaces. How do you guys see EasyIO in India?
Basically, if I look at the things, as I said earlier, those legacy systems, we got to get up, move ahead into open source platform. Now, all these are existing systems that Prashant mentioned, ties you up into marrying with them. Now, what happens when you don't do some changes? It can't do anything. That's where somebody like EasyIO or an open source could play a major role, giving the right platform, the integrators, the devices, the handshakes available to grow the system. Because every time the interiors change, 5 years down the line, you have the building change, the envelope changes, and then it makes a major difference because the client then gets married to the vendor. And with that, I think open source is the right platform. I've been into this industry, and then the Tritium was one of the things which came in. The Tritium opened my market enormously. And then EasyIO is using the Niagara framework, but it has its own advantages. Right? So I think my colleague here who works more on hotels could give you a better insight to what would be here.
Renovations are a part of any building. Additions, alterations, expansions. Now these are things which are always happening in any project. And if you don't have a system which is capable of handling all these changes that you are happening in future or while the project is on, I think you are limiting yourself to a very, very narrow operational band, which means that your capabilities get reduced substantially. And to get over that problem, I think this open platform system, I think that is the way forward. And if you are able to capture the market with this kind of a system, or there are more players into this, actually one company is there, but if there have to be several more players, because then you need a choice also of what is happening. I think that is the way forward. Any building, I mean, I do projects where the buildings are even like it's a hotel or it's a commercial building where it's a massive development where the buildings have to come one after the other over a period of time. Now, I have personally experienced that you have one system in one building, and the next building, either you have to go to the same vendor. If you don't go to the same vendor, it's another building. At the end of the whole project, what happens, you have 5 different BMS rooms in the building rather than one single BMS room, which I think is not the idea of having a BMS. So I think this open platform is something which one has to actively promote. Companies like EasyIO have to help us as consulting engineers to give us the solutions, and to help us to design things which are easily acceptable to the whole market also. I think that is where education, training also comes into it. The education has to start, like you said, right, not from only the bottom level, it has to start from the CEO of the company has to have that vision, that what he has to do with the BMS. And down the line, it percolates down, and everybody should know that BMS is something which gives you benefit, and it should be used properly.
So, you mentioned you guys talk a lot about education and getting people trained. How do you typically get your technicians trained? What's their course for getting trained?
If you look at the trend, it's always on the field, on the job. So there are no certified trainings which happen in India. No, we tie up with a brand, and the guy says, yes, this is the price. The price looks very attractive. We go and talk to the consultant. The consultant says, okay, we will look at this brand. If it really works, we'll give you an opportunity to work on this project. So I feel it is very crude. We don't follow a set standard where we get our people certified first and then put them on the job so that they do a good job and do it in the right time frame to come out of a project. So the biggest loss which we see is that operational expenses go up when we execute a project. So something which is supposed to be completed in 3 months, it may go up to 6 months because we have not got our people trained. The biggest problem is, I think, which has been taken away by EasyIO is the idea is one box will give you everything inside it. Okay, so you don't have to refer back to a manual. There is a commissioning tool which is available on the system. There are drivers which are available on the system. There is a training manual which is available on the system. There are schematic drawings which are available on the system. So if a guy who has left or who's on leave for 15 days, if there is a second commissioning guy who comes in, he can just get into the database and check out what was the trend which was happening in the last 15 days. So he doesn't have to refer back. Client doesn't have to refer back. It's so easy for him to just plug into the controller and start working on it. So that's how EasyIO is making our life simple. And I think the best part or the fantastic part of EasyIO as a company and the people who are there, support is available at any time. You call up 12 o'clock in the night, you call up 4 o'clock in the morning. There is someone who's going to reply to your answer saying that this is how the system is to be, the problem has to be solved. So that's one thing which I think the whole team, not only me or Prashant, I think down the line every engineer is really happy. Once people who are happy on the field, they will always do good business for you and for the company, and as a system, it's really going to add value. So that's where everything starts.
I was going to ask you very specifically too, and I want to get into how did you get trained on Niagara? How did you get certified?
No, I got.
Yeah. So do they have Niagara certification that comes, or do you have to go to? Do you have to go to the States to get certified on Niagara?
No.
How do you people get
Okay, with this, I little go out of this thing is because out of this four, I'm the one person who was actually trained on Niagara. And I did it because I brought the 3DM guys to India to make a trial to get engineers trained on and certified on. So we did one level of certification. But the major hitch next is the cost. If you look at the Indian engineers, the cost to be paid for a certification is very high. So the best way is to have a webinars. You could have remote access. and then they do the trainings, right? So I tried a module. I run the training vertical as well. So I tried a module. So the cost is prohibitive. So the best way could be to have, as I said, remote training modules. Secondly, is we go to colleges. And the colleges, we need to push them to start this course, at least the basics of building management systems. Otherwise, what happens is it's just a question that comes, they do an IO summary, and they're out. Nobody knows actually how to design a building automation.
It's also a big problem we have in the United States and in Europe as well. It's
Yeah.
a problem in our industry. It's universal.
Yes. So I have Mr. Ajay here, who is very much into this because he has a different section of industry that he works on. He works on manufacturing plants, and he can give an insight to how those people get trained on systems, because that's the process industry, and we are in the building industry. So how these two systems merge together.
Many industries, there are many people who are working as an operation and maintenance engineer. They don't know how to maintain and properly operate the systems also. So basically they are from the electrical background and they don't have any training on the BMS and control systems. That's why, as he says, there is a necessity to have educational institutes where we can put a program for the BMS and control systems.
So in the US, one of the things that goes on now is you have an engineer that's on site and you can log into the system remotely. So you can have a really good technical guy back at the home office can help support multiple people. Do you guys see that as well?
That would be a good solution. But what happens if you look at Indian conditions? Actually, we have about 22 vernacular languages. It's not English. If it's English, it's fine. Everybody doesn't speak English, or he might speak English, but he won't understand the way the person at the other end who is going to give your technical support would speak. So what happens is either it has to be done locally or it has to be translated. So the books, or he speaks in English, but he reads it in local language. And that's a major challenge. The punchline is, taking it forward, what we want to do, all of us are of that opinion, is do we want a BMS which is a building management system, or it remains a building monitoring system? We saw a lot of things. We saw a lot of partners working on it. So how it actually comes on a single platform and becomes a large installation, multiple building management system or a monitoring system? That's an open question to everybody, and always will be.
Yeah, on behalf of everybody, I just take this opportunity to express our gratitude and thanks to Easy.io, who organized this kind of platform where we could meet all global partners, all global companies who are involved into BMS system. And thanks to Easy.io.
I think we would like to thank Kenny and Eric also, because you guys are doing a fantastic job. No, every time I think you rock. You guys rock, really. From the bottom of my heart, I feel every time. I have been selling BMS system for the last 20 years. I was with Johnson Controls, with Ingersoll Rand, and I see a lot of trend in the OEM market. Every top brand, the top 3 brands, has the best of the controllers. But if you don't have the right support, the right technical support, and the way to train your partners, any good product is going to fail. And that's how it has happened. We are replacing a lot of top brands. We are replacing it, and customers are coming to us because we have got the right talent available with us on the BMS. We are very, very strong on the pharma. So we feel that if we can do a pharma job of a size of, maybe we have done jobs which are $8 to $10 million. So it's not a small job. So for us, comfort HVAC is a cakewalk. So our guys understand what's pressure all about, what's temperature, what's RH, what is the pressure differential between a corridor and a room for a pharma application. For a comfort HVAC, it is too easy for us, like Easy.io. So I think we should thank you guys, because you are getting the BMS on that platform. As you rightly said, IT industry, look at IT industry. They are way, way ahead. I think they are 20 years ahead of us. They are very clear the kind of business model they want to do. In India, you will find the OEMs competing against the partners, which is really not good for the partners and the OEMs because the business will not grow, the systems will not grow. And we talk, rather than talking about each other and bringing good things on a platform, we try to compete each other and talk rubbish about each other, which is not good from a industry perspective. So I feel going forward, India is going to be the next big market. There is 100 smart cities which are going to come up. Just imagine the kind of investment which is going to come. Japan is already going to invest $35 billion in the next 5 years. It's huge. Next is China, which is in line. So, as rightly said by Mr. Pradeep Sheth, Vinayak Sahni and the other consulting engineers, that 60% of the total cost of ownership of a building is HVAC. So there's huge potential for analytics, for the right controllers with open source. And EasyIO is going to be the next trend or the front runner to take away the chunk of the business from the other competitions. Thank you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all your support.
Thank you. Well, listen, any chance we could, control, I think control trends we're seeing that the world is becoming, it's a worldwide control community. Any chance we could get you guys to come periodically on control trends, be our Indian correspondents, keep us posted on what's going on? Awesome. Before we leave, guys, how do our listeners or viewers get hold of you? Do you have a website? And if so, would you tell our listeners how to get hold of you?
My website is uniquecs.in, uniquecs.in, www.uniquecs.in. That is my website. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I have two of them. One is on consulting, that is www.siconSult.com, and one on energy analytics is www.elmark.co.in.
Yeah, you can get in touch with us on www.gmptech.net.
Anytime you can visit us on www.shetechno. I will spell SHETTECHNO.com.
Guys, you could contact me on www.guptaconsultants.net. It would be a great pleasure to receive any kind of inquiry from you, any kind of information that I would love to share that with you.
Yeah. You can get in touch with us on www.gmp3s.com. That's our low voltage division website.
Found the Beast! Yeah! Found the Beast!